What is going on, everybody? Welcome to my brand new garage. Come check it out. If you guys have been on my channel, you're probably familiar with the third bay of the garage, which I completely transformed into my gym. What that means is I now only have essentially a 2-car garage, so I really have to be efficient with my space, and I feel like we finally got to a point where I can at least present it to you and show you what we have done to make this one cost and budget friendly, but also to make it a little bit more aesthetic, because if you're like me, you take a lot of pride in the look of your garage. So the first thing and the most obvious thing that I want to point out are the floors. Now this is something that I wasn't going to do, but I'm so happy that I did, and I know moving forward I will have epoxy floors in every single home that I own, because I just feel like it takes it to the next level. When you see these before and afters, it starts to make sense why you would want to go this route. So the first quote we got to do these floors was gonna be $5,000, which just wasn't going to happen. But what we ultimately decided on was not doing it myself, but going out and buying the materials myself from Lowe's. We went with the rock solid. This version apparently is a little bit more sturdy over the years. It's a little bit more expensive, but the materials themselves only cost $500. So if you have the skills and you want to do it yourself, then that is something you can do for a fraction of the cost. I ended up hiring someone who has done a lot of work in my neighborhood. So after I saw some of my neighbors and what they did to their garage, he ended up doing mine as well. And it only ran me in total with the materials like $1,200 to do all 3 bays, which I think is a great investment. It looks awesome. It makes cleanup so much easier, and I would not have it any other way. So let me know in the comments down below, are the epoxy floors essential in a garage? I'm definitely team epoxy moving forward. One of the other things you'll notice that we did was we added a door to separate this part of the garage from the gym. I just feel like that's a huge improvement. So when you go in here, it has its own designated space, and I really like the way that that turned out. Now, one of the things that you will notice is we do have an extended 2-car garage, so it's really nice in terms of space because we can park even Megan's Tahoe in here and still have plenty of room towards the back. So for me, building out storage systems was gonna be really important because I'm someone that doesn't wanna see any of the clutter. I know a lot of people go with the open storage. That just drives me nuts personally. So I'll show you what I decided to do for my organization. So this back area here is all of my storage. It's kind of my work area, which if you guys know me, not a whole lot of handyman stuff is gonna be done, but I just like the way that it looks. And I did go with all Gladiator brand from Lowe's, which you can go to any store and pick up. This is not sponsored in any way. They didn't give me any kind of discount, nothing like that, unfortunately. I really wish they would have. I would have saved quite a bit of money. But the reason I decided to go with all Gladiator is pretty simple. So the first week we move in, if you guys remember that video, I needed a cabinet, and I just went to Lowe's, and this is the one I had picked out randomly. Didn't really give too much thought about it. But then when I figured out very quickly I would need more storage than just this, it was gonna drive me crazy if everything didn't match. So that's why you see everything here. I have got a ton of questions from you guys on Instagram, so I'll just go through everything that I picked up from Gladiator. And I do think it's quality stuff. I find that some of it is probably overpriced, specifically this right here, the tool chest. This was almost $600, and you can find better quality for like half the price, at least from what I've seen at the store, but I think the reason it was so expensive is because it's the only thing that came assembled. Everything else I found was a lot more reasonable. So those 2 guys up there were like $150 a piece. And you can see, I don't have anything in this one just yet, but there's plenty of storage. So I got those 2, the tool chest, and then just this open drawer system right here, which I keep for all of my gym stuff. And then I did also get the workbench from Gladiator. You will have to buy the power strips separately if you want that. I find that that's gonna be very, very useful, so it's money well spent. And then of course I've got the big cabinet right there. So in terms of my recommendation, I do recommend the product. I think it's gonna work out great for me. The only thing I don't recommend is this stool. This thing is kind of a piece of junk in my opinion. It's only like $100, but I recommend probably just getting something a little bit nicer, especially one with a back, if you are someone that's gonna spend a lot of time back here. The other thing I wanted to mention is I got the wall control up here to hang the cabinets on rather than just hanging it onto the wall. I figured it'd be a little bit more secure that way. And a lot of people will ask, like, what do we have in here? Not too much. I mean, some random assortment of nuts and screws. I really hate when I'm working on something and not having something and having to go to the store, so I just try to keep a little bit of everything. We've got sockets, mostly for, you know, putting together gym equipment more than anything. Got this nice little flashlight, how about that? Magnetized, along with the tape measure. This thing, best tool I've ever bought, love it. Some people making fun of me for this. I'm like, it's efficiency, baby. Now, this is the most important drawer of all. This is the Built Bar drawer. You can see we have an assortment of flavors. I'm actually gonna go with the salted caramel. This is the most important tool that I currently own. One, to build muscle, but also not to get hangry when you're working on all those house projects. You're looking at about 130 calories in here and about 20 grams of protein. And best of all, they taste so good. But I have to keep them out here because if Megan finds them in the house, she'll eat them all. And before I know it, I don't have any Built Bars left, but you guys will absolutely love these if you've not already tried them out. They've been nice enough to sponsor today's video, and you guys can get an additional 15% off using Travis15. I'm gonna have that link down below, but I'm gonna warn you, if there are others in your household, you're gonna have to find a place to hide them, or else they'll magically disappear. Now, this back corner is not done just yet. So you'll see we have the mini fridge. The reason I left that much room there is because eventually we're gonna get a full-size fridge. We already kind of need it, but kind of just putting that off, so I didn't want to just crowd it too much. So we'll leave that open for the future. And then back here, I'm gonna ask you guys for some suggestions. I've got this dolly, and I've got this shop vac, as well as this power washer. And I don't love that they're just sitting here on the floor. They're tucked away, so they're not in the way of anything, but how do you all store this kind of stuff? It's not gonna hang on the wall anywhere. There's not really a great spot for it. So if you have any advice, I'd really appreciate that. The rest of the stuff over in this section is kind of because I ran out of room in the actual gym. So I put the exercise bike out here to free up some space. So it doesn't really get in the way of anything. I don't know that this is gonna be its long-term home, but for now, I think it does the trick. And then this stuff on the wall, this wall control, was actually a recommendation from my friend Brandon Campbell. He has an entire video on it if you guys wanna check that out. This is awesome. It can hold just about anything. You can get different size clips on here, so you can just hang different objects, tools. For me, I just used it to hold some gym attachments, but the stuff's a little bit on the pricier side. It's a few $100, but I think it makes it look very clean, and it just does the job really well. Now, you will notice everything else around the garage is relatively empty, except for Megan's stuff. I'm just saying, it's my wife who's cluttering up the garage. We got the mirror, some lights that we've replaced that we're gonna donate to Habitat for Humanity. They haven't made it here yet. And then she's even got some potting soil over there in the corner. So you fellas, I know you're facing the same issues that I am. So we made this rule in our household. For every item she puts in the garage, I put something of mine in the dining room. Try that out and watch how much it will help keep clutter out of your garage. And the last thing I'll show you, we have a few more storage areas for my ladder and my leaf blower. This thing is awesome. I just got this. I had a 20 volt. This is a 40 volt. My boss recommended I pick one up, and it's so much more powerful. I mean, if you guys can just check this out. Cameraman didn't like that clip too well, but this thing was well worth the money. It does a much better job than that little 20 volt that I had previously. And you know, that is pretty much it. As we accumulate more and more items, as our lives go on, I'm sure we'll do some overhead storage and some things like that. I did look into getting like a custom build out with built-ins to hide everything that looked really professional and well done. The problem with that is it got very, very expensive really quickly. So I already told you we saved a ton on the floors. And even though I spent a few $1,000s on all that Gladiator equipment, it was still just a fraction of the cost. So it was somewhere in the middle between completely custom and just open storage that would be really, really cheap. So I think everything came together extremely well. Please let me know what y'all think in the comments down below. Is there anything I should have done differently? Anything I can continue to improve, or any words of advice for you from you long-term homeowners out there, especially when it comes to that corner? I'm not as proud as that corner over there, but I also want to paint the staircase to make that look a little bit more finished. finished, but that will come in time. That's it, guys. That is my garage. I hope you all enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys got some ideas out of it. I'll keep you updated as we continue to make changes here. And I really appreciate you all taking the time out of your day to watch. I mean, you could have been doing anything in the entire world, and you chose to spend a few minutes with me. That is pretty awesome. Please give the video a like, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Let us know what room you want us to do next, and I look forward to talking to y'all next time.